Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic. How do I know? Wait a minute. How do I know if I'm an alcoholic? Oh, wait, that's right. There was a book written about it, published back in 1939. It's called The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. This book wasn't trying to diagnose me. I don't think it's trying to diagnose anybody, but it did give me enough information to come to that realization myself. And that's what I want to share with you today. I'm not trying to diagnose you. That's something that only a qualified medical professional could do, which I am not. But I want to share with you the information that I use to kind of use as a measuring stick for myself and make that determination on whether or not I'm an alcoholic, whether or not I have a problem. My friends who use drugs may struggle with drug addiction. When you hear me use the word alcohol, switch that in your head to drugs. When you hear me use the word alcoholism, switch it to addiction. I firmly believe this same information applies to drug users as well. So there's my disclaimer. So before we can identify what an alcoholic is and how I know if I'm an alcoholic, we have to understand why people even use drugs and alcohol in the first place. And then on Roman numeral page 24 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Dr. Silkworth writes, men and women essentially drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol, by drugs. To them, the alcoholic life seems to be the only normal one. They are restless, irritable, and discontented unless they can again experience that sense of ease and comfort, which comes at once by taking a few drinks. A sense of ease and comfort. So that's why we drink. That's why we drug, right? Because it kind of gives us a sense of ease and comfort. Fair enough. All right, sounds good. So now I'm going to jump over to page 20 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and this is where Bill identifies the type, and he gives us 3 types of drinkers. And maybe you can hold this up and use this as a comparison, compare yourself with to see where you fit in. First and foremost, there's the moderate drinker. The moderate drinker. Right off the bat, I just don't like that name because I just know that I don't moderate anything. But the moderate drinker has little trouble in giving up liquor entirely if they have good reason for it. They can take it or leave it. Yeah, that wasn't me at all. I couldn't do that. I was not a moderate drinker. Then we may have a certain type of hard drinker. He may have the habit badly enough to gradually impair him physically, mentally, may even cause him to die a few years before his time. But if a sufficiently strong reason, say ill health, falling in love, change of environment, the warning of a doctor, if that becomes operative, there is a sufficiently strong reason, this man can also stop or moderate, although he may find it difficult and troublesome even, and may even need medical attention. But he can stop. He can stop. So the moderate drinker can stop. The hard drinker can stop. Granted, with sufficient reason. But what about the real alcoholic? I'm on page 21. The real alcoholic, he may start off as a moderate drinker. He may or may not become a continuous hard drinker. But at some stage in his drinking career, he begins to lose all control of his liquor consumption once he starts to drink. In other words, once I take out first drink, I can't stop. I just can't stop. And so those are the 3 types of alcoholics, or 3 types of drinkers, I should say, that Bill articulates on pages 20 and 21. Now, we jump back over to the doctor's opinion, Roman numeral page 26. Dr. Silkworth provides us 5 different types of alcoholics. Remember, we got the moderate drinker, the hard drinker, and the alcoholic. So now from that alcoholic, we have 5 types of alcoholics. All 5 of them, you can read them there on Roman numeral page 25. They all have one thing in common, and it's about 3/4 of the way down. They cannot start drinking without developing the phenomenon of craving. So in other words, once we take that first drink, we trigger the allergy. For those of you familiar with the Big Book, we trigger the allergy. It's like, setting off that allergic reaction. And that our allergic reaction is we start craving it. Matter of fact, at the top of Roman numeral page 26, Dr. Silkworth writes, these men were not drinking to escape. They were drinking to overcome a craving beyond their mental control. And this all starts with that first drink, with that first drug. And I use that as a guide to make that determination. And man, when I lined it up, I'm not a moderate drinker, I'm not a hard drinker, I must be an alcoholic. So what makes me an alcoholic? It's the fact that whenever I pick up that first drink, this is coffee, by the way, when I pick up that first drink, before I can even set that down, I'm already thinking about the next drink. I'm already thinking about the second and third drink. Hell, by the time I'm done with the second drink, I'm already asking myself, do I have enough in the bottle to get me through the night? I am definitely definitely an alcoholic. So if I'm an alcoholic, how do I stop? Well, on page 27, Bill is telling the story of Roland Hazard. Roland Hazard, and there's a history about him. He's talking with the famed, world-renowned psychologist, Dr. Carl Jung. Jung, you know what I'm talking about. And Dr. Jung, he tells Roland, he says, ideas, emotions, and attitudes, which were once the guiding forces of the lives of these men, are suddenly cast aside, and new conceptions, a new set of conceptions and motives begin to dominate these people. That's how we change. What he's referring to is that psychic change. You can call it psychic change. You can call it spiritual change. You can call it pie in the sky change. But what he's saying is we take our ideas, attitudes, and emotions that we lived our lives by up until that point, and we set them off to the side, and we get new set of ideas, emotions, and attitudes. That's how we're able to stop. And on page 31, I believe it is, Bill, he says, if you don't know if you're alcoholic, again, we're not in the medical field. We can't pronounce you. We can't diagnose you as an alcoholic, as a drug addict. But he even says, at the bottom of page 31, we do not like to pronounce any individual alcoholic, but you can quickly diagnose yourself. I know I did. Step over to the nearest bar room and try some controlled drinking. Try to drink and stop abruptly. See, I never could. I can't get drunk if I don't take that first drink. That's why I say it at the end of every single one of these morning monologues. I know I can't get drunk if I don't take that first drink. And I know if I do take that first drink, I'm off to the races. It's hell to pay. I know because I've lived like that for 25 years. Coming in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, I learned that I had to get a whole new set of ideas, emotions, and attitudes. How did I get a whole new set of ideas, emotions, and attitudes? The 12 steps. Well, that's an awful lot. I'm going to screw that up. You're right. And guess what? I can tell you I'm living proof. I screwed up the 12 steps too. But there's only one step I have to get right every single day. See, that's the beautiful design of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. There's only one I have to get right every single day. And it's just that first one. Knowing I can't put that first one in me. Once I put that first one in me, I can't stop. I can't stop. I can screw up all the remaining 11 steps. God knows I have. That's okay. Because 1 out of 12, though, that's pretty good, even for this guy. And I have terrible luck. I can get 1 out of 12 right, and that's all I have to get right. It's just that first step. That first step, taking that first step, day in, day out, realizing I can't put that first one in me. If I put that first one in me, it's game over for me for the day. Realizing I can't put that first one in me, that's what allows me to say, okay, now let me rearrange my ideas, attitudes, and emotions. Let me start trying to do some of these other steps so I can have that psychic change, if you will. I want to encourage you. Again, I'm not trying to diagnose you. If you think you have a problem, you probably do, but I can't say that for sure. Seek out advice from your medical health professional, but I want to encourage you to at least get into the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Bill Wilson, Dr. Silkworth, there's a whole bunch of them that were involved in writing this book back in 1939. It was all the information I needed. Again, you got your 3 types of drinkers: moderate, hard, and alcoholic. And I was not the first 2, I assure you. Ask yourself, are you alcoholic? Are you a drug addict? And then definitely go and have a conversation with a medical health professional. If nothing else, get to a room, an Alcoholics Anonymous room or Narcotics Anonymous room, and start asking around from there. That can help get you on that path. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to hear discussed on these morning monologues, feel free to send it in to me in email, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. I'll take a look at it, see what we can do. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.